If I ask you the question, what does Meghan Markle have in common with Amber Heard? I'm sure that the word narcissism will pop up more than a couple times. And I was talking in another video about the types of narcissism and someone suggested that I make one about this classification. But then I had a better idea. I'm going to describe the 3 most common types of narcissism and then you are going to say which one of these women fit, so to speak, with each description. And I already mentioned Amber Heard and Meghan Markle, but I'm adding a third secret person that I will be revealing later. Welcome back, my body language buddies. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the body language guy, and it will be great if you join us by just liking this video, subscribing, and hitting that bell. Let's get down to it. The most important thing to know about narcissism is that we're talking about the spectrum. A long line that goes from being a regular asshole all the way to batshit dictator. So even if we like to classify and fit people in certain categories, it will always be a fluid tag, so keep that in mind. Now, many specialists have their own classifications of this scale, but I'm going to break it down to 3 so it's easier for all of us. And the first one is going to be the passive narcissist. The passive narcissist doesn't really want to rule the world, doesn't want followers, and most probably is not interested in fame or recognition. Now, there's one thing they want above all things, and that is attention from a very limited circle of people. The perfect example can be a narcissistic mother that is constantly making her sons and daughters to feel guilt and uses passive-aggressive manipulation. She could say, "When you talk to me like that, my chest begins to hurt. You know that my heart is weak," and things like that. It can be confusing because you might believe that a narcissist demands attention from anyone in society, but this kind of passive narcissists can be absolute hermits, not interested in any kind of public recognition, but they do want to have all the attention of their loved ones. If this kind of narcissist ever demand attention from the public, it's just to embarrass you. I recall the anecdote of Michael Landon's mother that she used to embarrass him by putting the bed sheets that he peed at night, she put them in to dry in front of the house for everyone to see. And when he got out of school, he had to run back home to take the sheets off so his friends did not see them. Speaking of friends, you might have one of those friends that you suggest to go watch a movie and it has to be the movie they want or else they are not going, and hey, you know what? You have to pick them up and maybe buy some popcorn for them because they forgot their wallet and so on. And don't get me started on passive-aggressive co-workers that just make your life miserable. But moving on, we got to the second type that is one that you might know very well. The grandiose narcissist. I also call them classic narcissists because they have the well-known delusions of being special, they love the praise, they love the recognition, they simply cannot stand any kind of criticism, they have a really bad ego problem, and they are not satisfied with anything. While the passive narcissist usually focuses on their immediate circle, the grandiose narcissist is always going to look for new targets, and they will milk those targets until they no longer serve any purpose. In this regard, there are pros and cons to dealing with them. If they can't get much value from you, they will discard you rather quickly, and that's good because the more time you spend in any kind of relationship with them, the worse it is for your mental health. The problem is when they set their sights on a target that has a huge value potential for them. Maybe it's money or power or much better, status. They love being with someone that gives them status. Maybe even a title, if you know what I mean. And in those cases, they will prolong the relationship as much as they can to keep the perks of being with that target. You don't want to be that kind of target. Your life will be absolutely destroyed. And it helps a lot to learn to detect intentions. So I suggest you download my 100 body language tips right in the description of this video. But if you're not in that category, if you're not a high value target for a grandiose narcissist, you really don't have much to fear because they only crave for attention and acceptance. It's not like they are going to proactively put people in danger to achieve what they want. And that's when we arrive at the third kind of narcissist in this scale, the malignant narcissist. This is the highest tier and the ones that, yes, will openly put people in danger in the most reckless way that you can imagine to get what they want. This kind of narcissists most probably are psychopaths, and as opposed to sociopaths. Remember that sociopaths are created by nurturing, psychopaths are just born that way. And that's why they become the most dangerous breed, because there's no empathy or remorse or anything towards other human beings. These are the ones that not only want to be praised, that's not enough for them. At the same time, they want others to suffer. And the more they escalate that sadistic game, the more rush they get from it. Yeah, we're talking about Gone Girl level narcissism. But I had mentioned Amber Heard and Meghan Markle at the start of this video. Given all these three classifications, where do you think they could fit? It will be great if you pause the video now, comment, and then resume for my answer. Well, let's go first with Amber. In my opinion, and this is absolutely no diagnosis, it's just a plain personal opinion based on what we've seen in her case with Johnny Depp, I think she's a blend between a passive and a grandiose narcissist. Because I'm sure her career was boosted when she married Johnny, but I don't see like that was her main goal. It looks like she was more interested in controlling Johnny. I mean, there's this man that everyone loves. Well, guess what? I want to control him. I want to have him under my thumb. I want his time, his attention, his energy, drain him emotionally. That's what passive narcissists do. Now, when it's Meghan's turn, there are so many signals that she's a classic grandiose narcissist, especially about that non-interest in titles, trying to sell the narrative that she's a woman that raised herself, and demanding attention and flair to her quest for privacy and a normal life, if that can possibly make sense. But there's a silver lining, and it's that, besides Harry, who sometimes looks like he's confined in an Al-Qaeda bunker, she hasn't actually harmed anyone in her quest. And that's what leads us to today's secret guest, Elizabeth Holmes. Most probably you already know about the Theranos fiasco, in which she used her very suspicious deep voice and her Steve Jobs turtlenecks to mesmerize slimy old investors looking for the next Facebook. And in that fraud, she went as far as to push in bogus blood testing inside pharmacies, effectively putting thousands of lives at risk. The closest that Meghan has been to that level of villainy is forcing children to read the bench. My intention with this kind of videos is to try to illustrate that there are many types of narcissists, and your best bet is not becoming a target. Because if you do, it's going to take a lot of energy to get off those toxic relationships, and that is if you understand the gravity of your situation in the first place. I think it's always important to remind you that this kind of people will make sure you feel guilty for any decision that might lead to dissolving your links with them. So if constant arguments leave you feeling guilty, confused, and emotionally spent, that's a very dangerous red flag that you should address as soon as possible. If you want to support my channel and help me make more videos, all you have to do is like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you don't miss any of my body language analysis and tips. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas, and I'll see you soon, my body language buddies.